we're back. And once again, this is the Halcyon Frequency podcast that you are currently listening to. How do I start this news segment? I mean, I've been playing video games for a very long time. I think I speak for everybody here. Like, you know, we've all, like, at least to a degree, been following this industry for probably a while. This is the biggest video game news I think I've ever heard.
Pretty much, yeah.
Period. Absolutely money-wise. What's even funnier is, like, another really big thing happened, which isn't even on this document. So, I'm just going to read this. Microsoft is buying Activision Blizzard King, or it has signed an agreement to, and has announced that they are planning to purchase Activision Blizzard King for $68.7 billion. Because last week Take-Two bought Zynga, the Farmville people, and I guess like Microsoft is like, hey, Take-Two, you think you're cool buying them for $12 billion? Well, have we got a story for you? So once again, Activision is called the Call of Duty people. Blizzard is the Blizzard people. We know what they do, I would think. And King is, they're Candy Crush, and all of the sagas. They're the people that tried to copyright the word saga not too long ago. This is
mental.
Well, first off, I'll let you talk in a second, FG, but this is insane because it really kind of puts into perspective. Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, was I want to say it was this past summer, was talking about Call of Duty specifically. And there's a quote from him where he says, "We are currently in negotiations to work on our relationship with Activision Blizzard in respect to Call of Duty." And it puts that statement into a whole new perspective now. FG, you were going to say something and then I babbled over top of you.
No, it's just Microsoft, at one point in time, Microsoft was, you know, in the gaming sphere. We all remember Games for Windows Live and how terrible it was and all of that sort of stuff. And then Microsoft disappeared. And now it's suddenly like, once that goes through next year, Microsoft suddenly is the third biggest video game company out there again. And it's like, what? What timeline is this? Like, because it's not just that they're obviously now they bought this huge studio, but it's not like it's their first or second or even third acquisition in the last couple of years. Like, they have so much now.
Shopping around a lot.
It's mental. It's crazy.
Like with the timeline, right? Like Microsoft was the big company coming into games way back with the original Xbox. They ran that console for a couple of years and then ran away from it with their tail between their legs and pretended it didn't happen. Launched the Xbox 360, and that was a massive success, right? Yeah. Alongside of Call of Duty with Activision, too. And then they were kind of the head of the show for a little while, at the very least, when it comes to like the mainstream console scene. They tried to get into PC gaming, as you said, with Windows Live, and nobody liked that, and that was horrible, and they became like the scourge of PC gaming, but like we're still loved in the console space. And then Xbox One happened, and they ceased being like acknowledged because everybody hated Xbox One so much, and that console was underpowered, it had problems, it was supposed to be an online-only box, and nobody wanted that. And now they've managed to pivot that into more of a software company. And now their head goal is just, we want Game Pass subscribers.
Yep.
And they are trying to position it so that they can get like Xbox Game Pass or just Game Pass on Nintendo platforms and on Sony platforms. That's what they want. That is their end game currently. And they're just trying to make that as necessary as possible for their current and still bigger than them competitor in this space. Like as a corporation, Microsoft is bigger than Sony, but the gaming division, Xbox, is still like, as you said, smaller than Sony. Sony still is a larger company. So Sony still has swinging power, but like they are trying to take that. But in doing so, they are buying Activision Blizzard King at a point when they're down in the dirt for being a horrible corporation. If anybody pays any attention to gaming news, like they're being sued by the state of California for malpractice. They are like mistreating workers. Currently, shout outs to Patrick Klepek over at Waypoint, Vice Games. A strike fund has been they've raised $400,000 in a strike fund to start a union over at Raven Software, which is one of the main studios working on Call of Duty Warzone. That studio's they've been on strike for like 6 weeks now because they laid off the majority of their QA, and this is a live game that is ongoing that needs support QA, and also it's a game that is notorious for being buggy and breaking. And so on top of purchasing this corporation with a objectively terrible CEO who's horrible, combined with a terrible work culture, like they're biting off so much. There's so many quotes out of Phil Spencer over the past that are coming back up from the past couple months, like back in November, about him talking about just the horrible things that they're doing over there, and basically saying like, we need to keep them at arm's length to a degree. And now it's just like all of the official information coming out of Xbox is just talking about how Bobby Kotick is staying on indefinitely, but every single rumor coming out of the rumor mill is saying, oh, he's going to be gone the literal second Microsoft takes over, which is summer 2023. I'm inclined to believe the rumor mill here, but Bobby Kotick needs to go. And they need to restructure that company. Like I can't speak for Microsoft. I don't know what their corporate culture is like, but you can't really get worse than where Activision Blizzard has been.
I don't know. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, also the Bloomberg posted an article that the Activision employees are also saying that they're very optimistic about the acquisition. So
hopefully,
it seems also within the company they're also interested, like really into this whole weird merger, I guess.
Blizzard in particular, like talking not even like not company culture, not Kotick and his horribleness. Blizzard itself, just when it comes to games, has been getting a little bit stale, and I think we can all agree on that. And when I say a little bit, that's a lot. And hopefully this breathes in fresh air into that, entire thing as well. That's what I'm thinking. Or like also gaming wise, like we live in a timeline where potentially Xbox Xbox Game Pass gives you your World of Warcraft subscription. Like, what even is a world anymore?
The interesting thing about the Game Pass model, though, is like I could see the Game Pass model being a net positive for Activision Blizzard. Just like so there is a world, right, where all games end up on Xbox Game Pass, and then anything that isn't on Game Pass is an instant failure, right? Like there is a possibility that we get to the Netflix situation where unless you are on one of the major streaming services, you don't exist. So I could very much see like the Game Pass model being a negative in the future, but for current times, we're looking at they're not just acquiring like Activision Blizzard King, they're acquiring quite literally like a dozen studios that are under Activision. And
yeah, Activision is the publishing branch of the Activision Blizzard, and they have like a ton of smaller developers under their wing. And I'm actually interested to see what happens with that thing, because like the Activision Blizzard is like you have the Activision publishing, you have the Blizzard, and then you have the King for the mobile stuff. So are they gonna like maybe separate those into like separate entities? Like I could see that happening. Like Activision is gonna become like the publishing wing for under the Microsoft, and they're gonna sweep all their other studios under that whole publishing, because you already have everything going there. You have the publishing, PR, and everything. Why not just lump everything there? Then you have Blizzard as its own entity. You can kind of have this whole new rise of Blizzard. It's not under any Activision or Vivendi or any of these other companies anymore. It's like Blizzard is back, and they try to get that where it was maybe 10 years ago. And then King is the mobile stuff, and they just sweep all the mobile under that as well. Like they have a really good chance of like structuring their things with this whole purchase.
I mean, I think you're going to see layoffs, because in this kind of thing, you always see layoffs. And like because you were saying that like maybe they'll split the publishing out. I have a feeling that we're going to see layoffs for Activision Blizzard Activision and Blizzard separately for their publishing arms because Microsoft already has that,
absolutely.
right? So
Yeah, you already have that, so you don't need to
there will be layoffs
say it
there.
twice.
But the silver lining on this is Activision owns a lot of IP that they're doing kind of nothing with. Like we saw a new Spyro pretty recently, right? And we saw a new Tony Hawk or the remasters of Tony Hawk's. But like a Tony Hawk game would work perfectly on Game Pass.
The Phil Spencer was also talking about like we own these IPs now. We have Hexen. Yes, let's make these.
Absolutely.
So we might be seeing a resurgence of some of these older IPs coming with the whole thing.
Give Hexen to id Software. You own that too.
Yeah, there are so many.
Do they actually?
Yeah, they do because that's Bethesda.
Bethesda, yeah.
Oh, they bought
Yeah,
Bethesda.
there's so
absolutely.
many options of like either IP
They also own
crossovers
Sierra.
or like just being able to revive old things and like I don't know, like there's a lot of options, which is exciting.
It's crazy because they own Double Fine, right? Which is all of the old Lucasfilm people to a degree, or a large number of the original Lucasfilm point and click adventure people, right? Like Monkey Island and all that stuff. But now they also own Space Quest now. They own Phantasmagoria. They own a lot of like all of the other point and click adventures from the other side.
Mental.
So they could give Space Quest to Double Fine if they wanted to. Like that's
I mean, this whole
crazy.
crossover thing is already starting because they just announced the buying, and Overwatch is already celebrating the buying with the skin for the Soldier 76, and it's the Halo.
Yeah.
They need to put Pitfall. They need to like remaster Pitfall. The time is now. Bring back Pitfall. Which I learned the other day that like nobody knows exists, or that Activision made it. But
How?
I didn't know it was up by Activision, but I played it a lot back in the day.
Activision was the first third-party publisher. Like, period. And they published games on Atari.
Yeah, how do people not know Pitfall? I'm shocked.
We are old. That's
Yeah,
how.
I know, but still.
Suwey, have you heard of Pitfall?
No.
There you go.
Of course
See?
not. I shouldn't be surprised.
It's basically it's like the first Indiana Jones game. Kind of.
I mean, to be fair, Pitfall is also not great. You know.
Wow.
It's not. The controls are so bad.
Yeah.
But like as an example, like the new Call of Duty Vanguard, which by the way didn't do very well. Very few people bought it, and the people who didn't like it. Has Pitfall in it. You can play Pitfall in Call of Duty Vanguard because that game has like it's not a hub levels. It has like a home base that you can walk around, and there's an old CRT and an Atari plugged into it. And Pitfall is one of the games that you can play on that. And the sad part is the emulation is so bad it's actually unplayable. The little creatures that move around at the bottom of the screen that fight with you like glitch out and don't work properly and don't path correctly and don't move the right ways, so it's actually impossible to beat it. And so it's just like Activision Blizzard has been like trying to do stuff with their old IPs and failing horribly with it. And I don't want to like make Microsoft look like good guys here because I think monopolies are terrifying,
Yeah,
but that's
that
a different
too.
subject. I don't want to say that they're the good guys here, but it is profitable for them to care about video games right now because just with the way Game Pass works, the more that they cater to people who play games on PC, the age category of people who are playing games on PC right now is what, like 25 to 34 or something on average. We remember those old games and we want those games back. And they know that if they provide that, we'll buy it. I mean, the Spyro remaster is like a perfectly good example of that. And I hope that they dig into some of those old IPs and give them to people who can do cool things with them. Because like I'm terrified of large corporations, and I'm going to be honest about that. But I think that a world where people are able to do things that want to do things with those old IPs could probably just be a net positive for the industry, at least in the short term. And assuming you eject Bobby Kotick and shoot him into the sun or something equivalent, or just give him his millions and tell him to go away. Like, as long as we can just get past that, and assuming this doesn't completely stifle out like Raven Software's unionization efforts and Blizzard's similar situation, which I'm kind of worried it will. But assuming that doesn't get completely stomped out of existence, I think that at least in the short term, this could be a positive.
It's definitely going to be a positive for the consumers, I think. I don't know about the working conditions. I hope it gets better and they do some housekeeping at Blizzard and kick out all the people that they need to kick out. Am I certain that they will? No. Am I hopeful? Yes, and I really, really hope it, that's what happens. But I do agree. Ultimately, I think for the consumer, like the potential, there's a potential that we see really, really, really awesome games coming out of this in the next 5 to 10 years is very big.
One other thing worth noting is Facebook also had an offer on the table to buy Activision Blizzard King. Shoutouts to Games Radar for that article, but I think that
see, that would have been the darkest timeline.
Yeah,
indeed. Like, I much prefer this purchase instead.
Yeah,
I mean, people seem pretty happy with Oculus stuff. I don't pay a huge amount of attention to that because I don't do VR stuff, but people seem to like Oculus. At least the people that are in that ecosystem.
Yeah, have you not heard? They're discontinuing that though, and it's
entirely.
It's really weird what's happening with it, and there's like weird stuff because where you had to have like a Facebook account, but now you don't. But now you can, like, I don't know. It's really weird. I'm not into it.
I thought they were discontinuing one model, not the entire thing. But
I don't know.
Maybe
It's messy. I think I'm not in the VR space because I'm pretty sure I would just get absolutely ultimately sick. So it's only on like I'm only informed on the periphery, but like it's messy for sure.
Yeah, it feels one of those like big corporation buying a new tech and they didn't really know what to do with it, and then they just bounced around and try a few different things and then just sell it off or just discontinue it.
Strange. I don't know. I would think that Facebook would be doubling down on that because of their addiction to the term metaverse. But anyway, that could have happened. So at the very least, I think that we can all agree that that's a positive thing that's not happening.